Uh,
You sound like a Chibli.
Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweet, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon.
Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. Yes, Matthew, I am getting faster and faster every week to prevent interruption.
I was just singing to myself. I'm sorry, buddy.
Matthew, I'm trying to recreate the magic we deleted.
And on that note, this episode is brought to you in part by Great Financial Despair.
We're not self-promoting right now, Nicholas. Wait, no, actually we are. On that note, before jumping in, guys.
Here comes the info part.
Oh my God. Guys, if you're new,
5, 4, 3, 2.
Guys, if you're new to the Nerdentials crew or the Nerdcast, you guys can find all our wonderful stuff on youtube.com/c/Nerdentials. Or if you're listening, you guys can go to the iTunes podcast section or Google Play. Also, wherever podcasts are found. Because you guys are totally, if you're only listening to the audio, you are missing out on the jams, jives, and dances of my fellow nerd hosts.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Now that Matthew has tried to completely bury his embarrassment on the audio form, there will be no hiding on YouTube.
Wait, like that awesome guy that used to hang out with us, Jeff Barry?
It's a really odd place to plug our past host.
You said Barry. Not
But
me.
shout out to you, Mr. Barry, if you're still listening to this podcast. We do miss you. Guys, in addition to Nick's wonderful, wonderful pop hits that you can find in one fantastic location with the rest of our content, go to nerdentialsmedia.com. Oh, that was beautiful. That was like a Geico commercial there for half a second. Or something similarly awkward. Anyway, thank you, my beautiful chorus angels, for delivering the .com. Guys, finally, the number one spot you can go to join the nerdy conversation is hit up that Discord link found on all our content under every video and every podcast. Guys, we have daily conversations about a lot of things. Again, hop on our YouTube. You guys are missing the crazy, crazy faces of your fellow nerd hosts.
I don't know what you're talking about again.
Hit that Discord like I owes you money.
Now that you know what's really weird is I did the whole.
Me some baby powder.
I did the whole.
Calm down, Chris Brown.
Here's whoa. I did the whole here's where you can find us bit, but I didn't introduce the cast for tonight. So, guys, again, welcome to Nerdentials. I am your host, Joe Tweeten. Joining me today are my fellow hosts, Matthew Johnson,
Bob.
Nick Thomas, and
What up, G?
the Lynn Dudgeon.
That's George.
Oh, dear God. see a little chest
I
hair there.
don't
That's-
see a
that's sexy.
George here tonight, Matthew, but thank you for warning me about any possible apparitions you might be seeing.
Bob.
Oh, okay. Well, moving on. Guys, I'm going to throw the next stinger up for today's episode. This particular one comes at you hot and heavy from as I cough my guts out in the form of
Hot and heavy.
So hot.
Movie Matters.
And
It's the
doesn't matter.
movies that matter to us.
This is not the Brady Bunch or a 60s sitcom, Matthew.
Oh.
Guys, welcome to Movie Matters.
My life is ruined.
Oh, Matthew is taking this a little hard. Guys, while we segue into Movie Matters, let me just be the first to say that we don't have any... Oh, wait, no, wait. I don't have the quotes, but I do have a little bit of news to throw out in Movie Matters today. Guys, I just want to get a couple quick fire thoughts on this quick bit of news before we review a few things. What does everyone think about the crazy, crazy prospect of an Aquaman film breaking the $1 billion box office number?
What?
Are you as shocked as I am, Matthew, being one that actually saw the film?
That's insane.
No? Oh, this is... Okay, hold on, Matthew. I want to get your thoughts in a second, but quickly from the Peanut Gallery, who has not seen the film, Nick, Lynn, what are your quick thoughts on just the crazy idea that an Aquaman movie, mind you, 20 years ago, who could have imagined this, breaking $1 billion in the box office?
I mean, blue people that weren't underwater made money before, so why can't people who have actually been underwater make money now?
Was that a DC crack?
Nice.
No, that was an Avatar crack, but oh well.
Well,
That was pretty good.
Nick, your thoughts?
Best way I could describe what DC did here is a broken clock is still right twice a day.
Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you still can't score.
But
hold on. I want to break that down for a minute. Lynn, is the goalie the Marvel fans, or is the goalie the anti-DC group? What is the goalie in this story?
Just because she's got a boyfriend doesn't mean you can't score. But, oh well, moving on.
Lynn, I think you're beating those puns into the ground a little hard.
I think what he's trying to refer to is the whole, DC EU or EU. What the heck?
Yeah, extended universe EU. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's what fans are calling it. Yeah.
I was thinking Euro for a second. I don't know why. Anyways, how they've kind of flopped before all this.
Cock-blocked every other movie that attempts to be good.
Wait. Kind of flopped? Their other movies weren't kind of flops. They flopped more than Shamu.
Okay, so you're
fell out
saying
of the
Wonder Woman flopped?
No, Wonder Woman was one of the few that didn't. Like I said, broken clock could be right twice.
Didn't Wonder Woman, the next one, get pushed out until the summer again?
Okay, my response to you is, do you know why?
Sure, go ahead. And answer me. Why?
No, hold on. My question is the perspective of your question coming from the misconception that you think they're worried it's going to flop, so they pushed it back further?
No, I'm saying they put it in a time period where it worked last time because they hope that it'll work this time.
Yes, you're 100% correct on why they pushed it back to the following summer. Yes. They did that because it's not going to compete with anything else at the time that they're going to release it in the following summer. But anyway, so really quick.
Okay, go.
Real quick, to go back to Nick's statement of flopping films, let's put it this way. We can all agree that as fan base and or critically, all the films except Wonder Woman up to this point were flops. Commercially, they were not. There is not a single DCU EU film. There's not a single one that's come out that's made less than $700 million. Not a single one. Suicide Squad made over $700 million. Man of Steel was critically the best one out of all the previous films at that time. It wasn't great, but it was still critically better than the rest. Made over 800 million. BVS, Batman vs Superman, made over 800 million. Don't fact check me right now, Nick. I'm just trying to make a point. Justice League made over 700 million, and Wonder Woman got close to 800, but it did not break 800 million. Now, commercially, as far as money goes, all of those are considered successes. That is the only reason Warner Brothers is continuing to try to keep going, is because they were commercial successes. Because they made enough money that it didn't tank. If it had tanked, they would have stopped. So, commercially, they've done well. And Wonder Woman got over 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, critically and commercially, Wonder Woman was their best bet up to this point. Now, Aquaman did not get the same critical rating as Wonder Woman. It hit in the mid to high 60s on the Rotten Tomato meter, but
68%.
Yes. Anything under 59% is considered rotten on the tomato meter. So, more than 3/4 of critics thought Aquaman was good enough. Now, commercially, it was the most successful movie ever. And the only thing I wanted to do, and I'm not looking at what's coming up ahead, Shazam looks very promising as being on par with why Aquaman did so well, because it was a fun, wild adventure, and Jason Momoa star power did a lot of legwork before the movie came out. Did you guys know? Jason Momoa went to the different Asian countries in person on a press tour and got down to earth on the street level with them and talked with the people overseas. Like, he was very charismatic and very personable over in the Asian countries, which I think helped a little bit. Now, because the countries over in Asia, the various different overseas countries, have a very weird demographic as to what succeeds over there versus what does well over here. Lynn?
Because they ain't crazy and they don't kill their favorite stars.
Sure, valid point. So, I think Shazam has a similar level of humor, as far as what we could look ahead to, and we could. I would say let's save it for next week's talk. We'll talk a little bit more about like the future of DC films, because right now, just quick fire. Matt Reeves is fully head on into development of his solo Batman flick. Right now we've got a Joker solo film coming out that's starring hold on, I'm drawing a blank.
Joaquin
Phoenix. That's actually looking very promising. This Batman film is being touted as a noir film, so it's not going to be heavy on the action. It's going to be heavy on the detective side of shit. We do have a Birds of Prey film being directed by a female director, and it is 100% underway in production. And they have a full casting for it already. So there's a lot of movies to kind of sink our teeth into and kind of look at where the future might lie. But I just want to conclude this section of talk and get Matt's review coming out of this little news section. Matt saw the movie Aquaman. So real quick from Nick and Lynn and myself, what's our hot take on why we think it did $1 billion? And then I want to jump into Matt's review after that, since Matt actually saw the film. So he has a direct perspective of why he thinks it did that well. Nicholas, go first. Go first, bro.
Jason Momoa. Star power there. Everyone's wanting to see what he's doing now when he's not in Game of Thrones. And they wanted to see what James Wan can do in something other than a horror film. There was curiosity, which brought people into this, and because they dumped so much time into it. Yes, the trailers made a big difference, but they did jump so much time into it, and the star power is what made the difference here.
Okay. Lynn, do you have any additional hot takes on this, or do you agree with any of it?
I think that all of the talent together is what made this movie so well. It wasn't just... I don't feel like it was just Jason Momoa. It was the whole thing. It was very well done.
Word.
And I've only seen like half the movies.
And just to conclude on these takes, I would agree with both you guys. I do think it's a combination of things. I think James Wan is a tried and well tested director. A lot of the flicks he has put out there have done well on their own merits. I think James Wan knew what he wanted for this film, and he didn't go in a weird roundabout way of trying to pull it off. And definitely the star power and the way the trailers were cut, I think, drew a lot of attention to it. Aside from, because here's the thing, the number one thing I heard from around the internet was people that didn't know anything about Aquaman went to go see it because of Jason Momoa. That was actually a verbal claim made by a lot of people. Lynn.
I do need to give credit where credit is due. And one of the things that I felt was very overlooked was the sound engineers and the CG designers for the movie. It was very well done. Because
no, you're right. That's a huge part of it.
The sound could have very well been the whole muffled underwater garbage, but it wasn't. And then the CG melded in smoothly.
So we'll toss it over to Matt in just a second. My concluding statement to coincide with yours, Lynn, I would say is the number one thing I heard coming out of this film was, even though like the story wasn't the highest point of it and the performances weren't the highest point critically, the biggest thing critics came out of it saying was that they were genuinely impressed by most of the action sequences, and more specifically, James Wan's ability to convey the action in a way that you can that people have told me they were able to follow it and not get lost in the chaos, like a Michael Bay Transformers film where there's so much going on it's hard to follow what's going on.
Explosions.
So I'm gonna toss it over to Matthew. Guys, I don't think I have any more news bits right now, so we're gonna kind of jump into. So guys, we're gonna do a quick. We have a review section in the episode where we're gonna talk about some other films, but the rest of us haven't seen this film. So we're going to forego the review, this week in review stinger that I usually throw up, and we're just going to toss it over to Matt to get his hot take on Aquaman and his quick review. Guys, don't worry, it's going to be a spoiler-free review to the best of his ability.
Okay. My personal take on why it's doing so well is you've got Jason Momoa, you've got Nicole Kidman, you've got Willem Dafoe, you got Jango Fett. I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah.
And just how everything.
Oh, and Amber Heard. Hello.
Yes, and Amber Heard. Yes. As Mara. Yes. As a redhead, I think she's a lot hotter than when she was blonde.
No, I agree with you. On a side note, I like her bright red color as Mira versus her normal shades of dark brown to black.
Yes. My take on it is you've got all those stars Plus, the story was actually written really well, in my opinion. The CG was bar none probably the best I've seen in a long time since Pirates of the Caribbean 5, I think.
Some of
The
that
one where the
high-end Hollywood money.
Yeah, just the way that their hair was moving, and, like, to make it seem like they were underwater. The movements.
This was actually, on a side note, to your budget talk and CG, like, this was only an estimated 160 million versus a 250 million Michael Bay film. So I'm actually really shocked at how well the underwater shit was done for half the budget of a Michael Bay film.
Yes.
Well, you save a lot of the budget without the explosions.
Well,
hey, there was explosions in this.
But
Let
there's
Matt-
explosions, then there's Michael Bay explosions.
okay.
That's very true.
Okay,
That's
fair
very
enough.
true.
Go ahead,
My
Matthew.
take on this film is, if you haven't seen it, you've got to at least see it in theaters. There's even spots in it where I would say even go see it in 3D, because there's aspects into the underwater scenes that were just breathtaking to me. Like, there's okay. So Willem Dafoe.
I was like, you can keep it vague by still, you know, expound a little bit on it.
Willem Dafoe was the king's apprentice, who was also more fond of the queen, as far as like everything goes. He actually trained Jason Momoa growing up to fight, to use his Atlantean side, so to speak. And there's a spot where he's underwater and you see his eyes change color to where they could see underwater in the dark, and everything just starts brightening up and just everything just coming at you. Like, it looked freaking amazing. So with those two aspects, I think mostly the stars, the CG, and just the backstory to, well, it's not even really backstory. It's forward story from Justice League. They did a very well job, I think. Like,
A couple quick questions to kind of guide the rest of your review. How did you feel about the overall tone and presentation of the film? Like, you know, dark versus comical versus lighthearted. Like, what was the overall tone of this film for you?
everything. There was comical moments. There was what type of moments. There was
Did they get a little dark or serious at all?
a little bit of dark. It mainly has to deal with Black Manta. In the very beginning of the movie, it's kind of a Jason Momoa basically has to choose to either save somebody or not to save somebody, and he chooses not to save somebody because they were killing people. And Black Manta was the guy's son that died, basically. So
Right. Dang.
and then you have the joking, which was pretty awesome.
It was pretty good paced.
Yeah, and
how was the pace of the overall film? Did it feel short or long to you?
It felt a little long, but for being 2 hours and 27 minutes, I mean, that's going to be expected.
That surprised me that it was over 2 hours.
But you're not really like getting bored from the movie at all throughout the whole thing. Like, if you sleep through it, you're gonna miss something. Like, there was a spot where I missed something because I was talking to my daughters at the time while watching it.
Oh, you took
And I
them
had
to
to-
see
and I was
Aquaman?
like, oh, what just happened? And yeah, so
Nice.
but still good.
Hey, give us we still don't have a good solid rating, but on our previous scale in our past recordings, from a hate it to a love it on a 4 scale rating, how much would you recommend this? What's your rating?
Love it.
Straight up love it. Nice. I am definitely very interested in watching it and formulating my own opinion.
Indeed. I look forward to that.
Well, guys, that's gonna okay. Let's quickly, not super quickly, but let's just cover this next little bit of news that Nick reminded me of before we jump into Matt's final film review for the episode. I know, guys, it's a little disorganized. We're doing a little bit of news, a little bit of review, a little bit of news, a little bit of review. But this kind of creates some segues that we needed to have in place. So, guys, Nick's got the deets. Drop this hot bit of news on us, sir.
Well, movie history has been made. More specifically, Academy Award history has been made. This year,
What?
for the 91st Academy Awards, we have a comic book sci-fi movie as a film that is receiving nominations for Best Picture. Not only Best Picture, they're receiving 6 other awards, a total of 7.
Dang. Sorry, I'm excited. Go ahead. Go into it. What we got?
But the movie I'm talking about is none other than Black Panther.
Nice.
And it's insane that they got this. Because
Well, hold up. Based on what context is it insane? Because I think I would say from a cultural perspective of what they pulled off culturally, and from a nerd perspective, I think we were hopeful this would happen. But
yes, but the reason why it's insane is for the better part of 10, 15 years, comic book movies have dominated
cinema,
the movie market.
Yeah.
The cinema market, yes.
And
not
it
once.
took almost 15 years to get one to hit an Academy Award.
Right. Short of, what was it, Logan that got a Golden Globe, I think, for Best Adaptive Screenplay, and that was it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was it. You know?
Yeah.
And I think
Patrick Swayze should have gotten... Or not Patrick. Wow. Patrick Stewart. The wise talking.
Patrick Stewart, Best Supporting Actor for that one? Absolutely.
Yes.
He should have. But go on, Nick. Sorry. Not to sidetrack you.
My apologies.
Yeah.
You sound like a Chiblee. Now you sound like a demonic Chiblee.
They'll take it from us. No, Master will not take it from us. Yes, he will.
Oh,
I love
Smeagol,
that.
get out of here. What, Lynn?
Black Panther was ultimately nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, Best Original Score, Best Original Song. They had a song for it called All the Stars.
Yes.
Best Sound Editing, and Best Sound Mixing.
Dang. And we'll die. And you know what? I think we'll do like a mini-sode in the future because Academy Awards are coming up. I think it would be an appropriate time to create a mini-sode and break down how the Academy Awards work and what the difference is in certain categories. For instance, like, I'm confused as hell as to the difference between sound editing and sound production. Those two sound ones at the end. It's like I know there's a difference, and I've been explained it before, but Let's move forward though. Because I want to make. I'm absolutely fine with making that like a segment in the next week or two, because the Academy Awards are coming up. The Golden Globes already happened a couple weeks ago. So, unless you already see it right now, Nick.
I
I
don't
think
know.
what we should do is do what we did a while ago with Mr. Barry. Oddly enough, we bring him back up, and we talk about who won and who we think we should have won. And
Well, we did the Razzies, an episode of the Razzies where it was the worst films of that year.
The only thing I was going to add into this is who Black Panther is running up against for Best Picture.
Yeah, go ahead and give us the competitive list real quick.
The competition we got for Best Picture that Black Panther is nominated for, we have Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, A Star is Born, Vice, and another thing was actually broke this year. Netflix got one of their first original movies actually in the Academy Awards for Best Picture, Roma.
So, of that list, I think here's the thing, like my hot take on the likelihood of Black Panther hitting it, I would say it's only got one, maybe two of those films to truly worry about. I would say A Star is Born, maybe, just because of the star power, because both Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga are up in the ranks for nominations for Best Actor and Supporting Actor. Roma being a Netflix streaming thing, I think the Academy wants to nominate these things, but I don't think they're ready to dump out an actual award on a streaming service movie yet. It's, you know what I mean? It's real touch and go on the streaming stuff. Matt, I'll let you interject. Go ahead. What?
I think the biggest competition for Black Panther is going to be Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, shoot. I don't have anything to disagree with you on right now because I don't have the quote, but someone was saying there's some controversial reason as to why it's worth being nominated, but it might not win, and I can't remember where I heard it from, so I'm probably going to cut my little rambling off. I'll let you keep your hot take, because I would agree, under any other circumstance of me not hearing anything, I would probably agree with you on the Bohemian Rhapsody thing.
It's all good.
Yeah, I think bottom line, based on the listing there, though, I think Black Panther has a relatively solid 50-50 chance with any of those nominees. And I'm really excited to, I mean, it's going to suck if it's not named off as the winner. It's going to be one of those things in the back of our minds, like, how close was it? Like, was it second place or something, you know? Yeah, I don't know, dude. Did you anyway, that is some crazy news, dude. Like, guys, think about this for half a second. This is kind of groundbreaking. It's not just one nomination, it's freaking 7 in a row. And it's the first Marvel film, period. The first Marvel specific film out of 18 films? 17, 18 films. It's the first one to get nominated at all, let alone get 7 nominations. So it's groundbreaking for Marvel Studios itself, and it's groundbreaking to the nerd comic book culture as being an adapted film from comic books. And guys, like I don't put it on the same level as Aquaman, but look at it this way. Aquaman is that property that's kind of that little niche, little like, oh, that's cute, cultural, there's like a whole city underwater, like, how is that ever going to be anything huge? And then same thing, like 40, 50 years ago, you think of Black Panther, and not in the same way as Aquaman, but similar. It's its own little unique little cultural thing. It's a very niche superhero. It's not a mainstream thing. And, 20, 30 years ago, no one would have looked twice at the comic book property of Black Panther and thought, man, that's $1 billion film. Let alone, man, that's Academy Award winning, right? Like, no one would have thought twice about either of these films getting the kind of clout they've gotten for different reasons. I mean, Aquaman made huge bucks. Black Panther is getting Academy Awards. What the hell, guys?
Yeah, someone saw Aquaman and heard we could use whales, and said, we can make money.
Lynn?
Man, this superhero talks to fish with his mind. That's a cool power, right?
In a yellow and green leotard.
Which, I know Matt saw it. They brought those colors to the film. Like, not the leotard aspect of it, but they still did the orange and green outfit. I couldn't believe they did that.
Goldish yellow.
Anything else you want to say about what you've listed off? Because I went into my little spiel about, and you guys were kind of quiet. I said, would you believe that an Aquaman film would break $1 billion and that a Black Panther film would win Academy Awards? Boom. Hot takes on that, guys.
Well, here's the thing I have to actually say. Yes, they got nominated. I'm super excited about them getting nominated. But I think we might run into the same thing that Return of the King did. It is a genre film. And the Academy and the Oscars do not like to pick them for prestigious awards like that.
Did any of the Lord of the Rings films actually win anything, though? None?
They only won like best score and best screenplays. They never won best picture or anything else.
Well,
genre films get shafted when it comes to that prestigious award.
I know. We'll talk about it in a future episode about Academy Awards and how and why they work.
Mother trucker.
Same here, Matthew. But because the thing they look for the most is the artsy indie, like groundbreaking.
Well, and here's the thing:
bullshit
for a comic book movie. That's exactly what Black Panther was.
It was, and I think that's why it came close.
They made sure that they tackled the modern race issues. They tackled the issues all of Africa's going through, the wars and everything else.
Quick shout out to Ryan Coogler, the director for that film. He really hit the nail on the head by doing that, showcasing those things in a artistically beautiful way that made it easy to digest. And I think that's why the Academy saw it and was willing to, annotate and put it into a little bit of a spotlight.
Well, at first they tried putting it as most popular film.
Oh, yeah, we can't forget that, Nick. Thanks for bringing that up.
For it.
So many people, they were trying to create a new Academy. Okay, for those not in the know, to wrap this section up, they were trying to create a popular film award that had never been created before, and for the purposes of allowing genre films a chance in the spotlight. They're like, well, so popular meaning, okay, what film broke $1 billion this year? We'll nominate that one for popularity. So that would have included films like Avatar or any of our superhero films in the past. And so that's why they were like, oh, we're not willing to say, yeah, superhero films. And Black Panther is a superhero film, so let's create popular film choice. Anyway, we moved past that point. They got the backlash, and they finally were willing to be like, okay, what can we take out of Black Panther and apply it to our current pedigree of choices? And I appreciate the fact that they did that. So there's hope for the future. So guys, for the tail end of our Movie Matters episode, we are going to review one or two more flicks this evening. Hot off the press, out of Matthew's hands. He is going to give us his hot take and mostly spoiler-free as best as he can manage on the new DeKnight-directed film, the non-Michael Bay flick of the, you could say, soft reboot of the Transformers universe with the film Bumblebee. Matthew, take us away on your Bumblebee journey.
Okay, so my take on this is this movie was needed to take care of the last two movies that Michael Bay did. Oddly enough, Michael Bay was still a producer in this movie. He just was not.
It's a credit, man. It's just a credit in this situation, right?
Right. But this movie, like you had me listen to Pop Culture.
Pop Culture Leftovers, the podcast,
Yes.
yeah.
And when I listened to it, everything that Brian was saying, like, hit the feels when I was watching this movie.
Everything because he's a hardcore G1
Dude.
Transformers fan, and yeah, go on. Sorry.
So, within the first 5 minutes of this film, if you are a true Transformers fan, and you hear, okay.
Take a
No, I
minute.
can't even-
Take a deep breath.
I'm getting too excited. I think it's Shockwave. Sorry. When you hear Shockwave's voice as the original G1 version, I kind of did something naughty in my pants when that happened. Not gonna lie. Like, it took me back to watching the original Autobots, and even some of the voices throughout the whole movie brought a lot of memories.
They got a lot of the original voice actors from the 80s animated film and show.
Yeah,
Most of them.
You can tell that, and it kind of revived me. Like, when I first watched the first Transformers by Michael Bay, I watched it 3 times in theaters when it first came out. In 2 days. 3 times in 2 days.
Hey, early Michael Bay wasn't horrible.
It wasn't. First 2 movies were very good. Third movie was the worst one, I think. The fourth one was a good story.
Now, for our listeners out there, to give you guys quick context, like, Matthew is actually a pretty solid fanboy of all of the films. He does recognize the faults in some of them, but he does love all of them.
Yes. I love Transformers. I grew up with Transformers, and then seeing this movie, Haley. Oh, what the heck is her name? Haley.
Are you talking about in Bumblebee?
Yeah.
If you want to pause for half a second, I'll pull up the stats to kind of guide you through it. Excuse me. Okay, the actress's name is Haley Steinfeld. Steinfeld. Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld. What we know her from, or what I personally know her from, is from Pitch Perfect 2 and 3.
Oh, snap! Yeah.
And I didn't really know, like, how to take it as her being one of the main characters in this movie. She did a killer job. Bar none, I don't think anybody else could have done a better job. John Cena actually was a pretty good character.
Now, is he the next Dwayne Johnson?
His
future.
No.
In his future, I think that's the direction he's trying to go, huh? Sorry.
If
If he keeps taking these kind of roles, could you see him going Dwayne Johnson's route?
I could see that, yes.
I don't know. I don't think anybody could see him.
Every time I see John Cena do it, I'm just like, dun, 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 dun.
Oh, stop it.
Anyway, um,
Go on. So what about his
Cena!
what about his role though? John Cena in Bumblebee.
so he's an FBI agent, and he actually is the first person to see Bumblebee. Basically,
They don't
So in
build
the movie-
FBI agents like that.
No, they don't
true.
unless they're ex-wrestlers that decided to join the force, right?
But however, he is an FBI agent right now. He was in the military, and they do make military. They do make military men that way. Anyway,
Fair enough.
he actually did a pretty good job. Like in another movie that he did a pretty good job in was Daddy's Home 2. Like it's another one of those types of roles that he's playing. Like he's very serious, but at the same time, there's parts of him that you're just like, that's funny, kind of a thing. But all around, like this, I think was a good revamp for the whole series to kind of get a take on Bumblebee as when he should have been back in the day, kind of a thing, or with the original Autobots. And it even showcases at the very end that he turns into the Camaro that Shia LaBeouf snags up 30 years later.
A callback?
Yes. So
Wait, but it wasn't a 2008 Camaro, was it?
No. It was the rusted POS Camaro from
80s, 87, 88, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And when he changed into that, I was just like, oh, that's awesome. So wherever the next films go to, I think this director should take charge, because this guy was a huge fan to begin with.
Dude, I fully believe that Travis Knight, that's the director.
Yes, Travis Knight.
I fully believe Travis Knight. Well, and here's the thing. Travis Knight's known for animated heartwarming films from like the studio Laika, who have done. He's been involved as directing Kubo and the Two Strings, Paranorman, and the Box Trolls, which ironically I watched with my girls tonight prior to this recording.
And they're all good movies.
and him as a director, he really knows how to direct heartwarming stories, and he knows how to convey them well. And so the biggest thing I took away from this, Matthew, even though I'm still waiting to go see this, is that he as a fanboy, like you said, was able to convey all the details that were necessary to bring the 80s fan base, which are a lot of us and some that are older than us, into this film, and deliver a heartwarming story that would touch a lot of families, of the modern age.
And if you like the 80s nostalgia, this will hit you right in the feels, because it's nothing but.
Dude, I would say that the 2017-2018's era right now is filled with people just blasting us with 80s nostalgia and doing it well. I mean, hashtag Stranger Things, guys.
Yes.
Hashtag Ghostbusters. Hashtag
Captain Marvel.
Hashtag this film. No, it's 90s, technically.
95.
But they're still... which is disgusting. We'll talk about that another day. Captain Marvel's coming up soon, and that does touch a niche of younger people. Because I was born in the mid 80s, but I was a 90s kid, as far as my 10 to 20 year age range. All my teens was throughout the 90s for me. So, but anyway, Matthew, I know what the answer is to this question, but I just gotta get it. What's your rating?
Love it ×5.
Oh snap, Matthew! That breaks the mold on our rating system.
No, there's an
I don't
important question actually.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
What's
Nick.
that?
I didn't. I did not allow for
Because you said
mid-range introduction.
Well,
Go ahead.
you said one was going to take the rest of the year for the movie. Which one was better? Aquaman or Bumblebee? He actually said that, if you remember.
Oh, I know the answer to this question then, but we just need Matt to admit it, I guess.
Bumblebee.
I know.
Is that because you're fanboyness? Honestly.
No. So, okay, I have a fanboy aside.
I think that's unfair, Nick, because we know what Bumblebee did critically, and I think it did way better, right, than Aquaman. I think it did above Aquaman as far as fans and critics.
It did like 86% at Rotten Tomatoes. Don't quote me.
Right, not out of the stratosphere, but it is up there.
Yeah, but like story wise and everything that was going on, Bumblebee will take Aquaman, in my opinion. Not just because I'm a fanboy, but just how everything flowed through that movie. It was only an hour and 42 minutes, and there was no part that you could like shy away from.
Oh, they need to cut it here, or they should shorten it up.
Yeah, like
it was actually. I think pre-credits it was 240. It was total 254.
So they did a better job of pacing it than the last few Transformers movies?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Matthew, from a fan perspective, do you truly believe that though? Like that this didn't seem slow at all compared to maybe the last couple entries?
So Transformers 4 and Transformers 3, they were pretty slow as far as where they wanted to take it. This one, you kind of, like, from the get-go, knew exactly what was going to happen from the get-go. Like, it was... Optimus Prime says, hey, you're going to go to Earth. You need to protect this planet. And...
Dude, I just gotta point this out though before we get any further that this is technically, I think, Bumblebee is the shortest Transformers flick to date.
It is
because Nicholas, in case you didn't know, Transformers: The Last Knight, which came out in 2017, was 2.5 hours long, 2 hours and 34 minutes exactly. So Bumblebee is 40 minutes shorter,
and it
also
didn't feel rushed. Like you didn't. It wasn't like, hey, you could have probably put a little bit more into it. No, like the amount of stuff that they had into it was perfect.
Holy crap! Just a quick side note before we move on. 2007, the very first Transformers film. I didn't know this was 2 hours and 24 minutes long. The first one.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was 2.5 hours long, and they never shortened them at that point. I think all of them are over 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So
and
Bumblebee.
I watched it 3 times in a row.
I know. I've watched a couple of them more than once, but that means Bumblebee is the record shortest Transformers film, and you're saying it was well paced, not rushed, and an incredible revitalization of the franchise. That's your conclusion, basically.
Yeah.
I'm reading something from Insider here. Their exact quote here is, if you're skeptical over the potential lame Transformers flick, don't be. Bumblebee isn't just the best Transformer movie to date, movie Paramount Pictures has made. It's a great movie, period. And it's one you do not need to watch all the other Transformers movies to watch this one.
You don't. However,
I heard there were some small connections.
Yeah, there is.
Or references.
Or there's a couple of references that if you don't pay attention, you will miss. And one of them is that, this one you can't miss because he turns into the Camaro that Shia LaBeouf buys in the first movie that Michael Bay does.
Right, there's a little tie-in.
But they do reference Witwicky. in the movie.
Well, I was actually told that you'd be slightly confused a little bit because some of the stuff in this rewrites Bumblebee's character from the Michael Bay movies. Slightly. And there's some slight what's the best way to put it? Slight retconning.
How Bumblebee loses his voice in this is different from what the first movie dictates.
Right.
The way he loses his voice in this is exactly what actually happens in the Autobots movie.
Nice.
So,
I love how much fan service Knight went back into for this basically soft reboot.
and that's my take, and I'm sticking to it.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Oh, okay. Matthew, if you need to bounce right now, I think we'll create a segue for you to bounce because I think I don't think we'll do any other episodes tonight. I think Nick had
I have a review.
Polar to review, Netflix original film.
Okay.
So if you want to stick around.
Okay. I actually have a good segue for him to get out of here, and he's going to love this.
Yeah.
So, Matt, be ready. Okay? You ready?
Yep.
By God, is that the Matman symbol?
What? I gotta go.
Well, that's one thing I didn't know about Matthew. For you listeners out there, in case you didn't catch it, Matthew disappeared surprisingly right after the review. Something about a Matman signal. Not sure what that means. We'll cover it at a future time. That being said, we do have one more review this week in Movie Matters. And it's a film I reacted to on our Nerds React movie trailers. However, I have not jumped on it as quickly as one of our other hosts this evening. So I will grace your presence this night, nerds, with our lovely host, Nick, with this lovely review. Nick, take us away.
I'm going to do a semi-spoiler-free review of this. I've kind of given a lot of praise to Netflix over this last year because they've actually been upping their game.
Hell yeah, dude!
Movies, TV series, and stuff. And the movie we're talking about is Polar, Netflix original.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, Mads Mikkelsen. You'll know him from Hannibal. What else was he in? He usually plays a bad guy. He's in an indie film. Very sinister, like Russian or German guy, usually.
He's in an indie film called The Arctic, which also recently came out. As well as this film you're about to review. He always plays a villainous role. He was in Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One.
Yep. He was the evil general.
Mm-hmm. And he just always plays a menacing character. And I think he's good enough that I don't think he's typecast at this point.
He plays it well.
He just plays them well. He plays sinister, dark, and gritty really well.
I agree. He was Caecilius in Doctor Strange.
Okay. Yeah. I am very familiar with him in there. Yeah.
Yeah. No. But I was very happy that I watched this. By the way, if you're going to watch this, do not watch this with your kids. It is very adult, and it is by far the goriest Netflix original movie they have made to this date.
Nice. I'm excited about that. There's a scene in the trailer that I saw where he was laser guiding with a pair of gloves a set of submachine gun things, and it was beautiful, and I was excited to see it.
Yeah. No, this movie, to me, the best way I could describe it is it not only was it very similar to John Wick, there's parts in it that I thought they were actually poking fun at John Wick, and I thought to myself, that's not a movie you want to make fun of because of the cult following, but they did it in such a tasteful way. I loved it.
Nice.
The movie was great. Like I said, though, gory, very adult. A lot of references to drugs, alcohol, a lot of sex and nudity.
Makes sense.
A lot of gore. A lot of gore.
Now, sorry, I'll let you continue. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna interject ahead of you, and maybe you were gonna mention this. That it's based off a graphic novel.
Yes.
So I'll let you go.
Yeah, this is based off of a Dark Horse graphic novel written by Victor Santos. And I'm pretty sure it's the same title. But a quick synopsis of the show, of the movie and the comic book. This centers on an infamous assassin named Duncan Visla, played by Mickelson, a.k.a. the Black Kaiser.
Now, a lot of the comic books have the title Black Kaiser on it, so that's where it's a little different because the film is titled Polar. Go ahead. Sorry.
In Duncan's killer for hire organization, retirement is forced at age 50. But when his employer considers him to be a financial liability, the aging hitman becomes a target for some of the world's most dangerous death dealers. Basically, if he doesn't survive getting to his retirement, the company gets his money back. And they decide to try to cash in. There's some things about this that make this a lot different than some of the other genres in here. You don't have a sad, tragic backstory. They give a lot of mysteriousness to the character, which is nice. You don't know his motives for what he's doing. And in that way, the things that happen, you're able to get a fresh bonding with the character. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a few scenes that I'm so glad they put in there because not only did it make me laugh in some of them, but it was so over the top and like really, they're just gonna let him do that. That it was awesome. The best thing I could say when you watch it, pay attention to Sharon Tell.
Sharon Tell. What do you mean, like the actual activity?
I mean, show and tell.
The actual activity, show and tell?
Yes, that they do at school.
Oh, okay.
It kind of has a scene kind of reminiscent to Kindergarten Cop, where something's so over the top that you wouldn't do around children, but it's hilarious and by far one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Nice.
But no, the movie's definitely worth a watch. I would give it a love it. It hasn't gotten the best reviews so far. I actually looked up the reviews on it.
What's it sitting at?
What? Oh, I haven't looked at the numbers. I can real quick.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
IMDb popularity of 7. Oh no. Where is it? Their rating system a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay, so what was that again? On IMDb, it's
6.5
out of 10 across 2,700 user ratings. That's what I'm seeing. Huh. Okay. Yeah. And it's directed by the Jonas Åkerlund, who is born out of Stockholm, Sweden. He's a Swedish guy. And he's known for films Lords of Chaos, which is actually a really recent film, which actually, that one's a little creepy and weird. Lords of Chaos stars, what's his name? It's Macaulay Culkin's brother, Rory Culkin. It's like a cult film. Kind of interesting. He's gotten Jonas Åkerlund's got an interesting taste in film selections for what he directs. He's also done the movie Try, Spun, and Madonna Ray of Light. For anyone that cares. Some little cult films. is what he's kind of done a lot of. So,
Yeah. And the right here is one reason why I never listened to Rotten Tomato scores. I loved it, and I thought it was great. I'm gonna watch it again. But
what's
like
it?
Rotten Tomatoes puts it right at 12%.
Wow. What is there an audience rating on it? Because usually there's a little split. You know what I mean?
Audience score not scored yet.
Okay, there's not enough people hopping on yet.
And the critics score is out of 17 reviews.
Okay, there's not a lot of people watching it yet.
Yeah.
So we'll have to come back at a later time and see how it's doing.
But I would actually say it's definitely worth a watch. It was a good take on the genre. And I have a newfound respect for Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, in what way? What pushed you to that realization? Just a quick take on it.
I didn't know how deep and stoic he can get. And with everything still happening, he played that character and he showed you every side of the emotion of the character in something that was supposed to be a nitty-gritty, like dark killer movie. Yeah. But he showed every side of the emotion, everything from a little bit of humor to like grief, to guilt,
Nice.
to anger, vengeance. It was all across the board, and every part he touched was believable.
Nice. High accolades from the Nick Thomas.
I gotta say the person they chose as the villain, very Machiavellian and very interesting choice. The first time I saw him, I'm like, that can't be the villain. I was almost it was laughable, but and you'll once you watch it, it's the same actor that plays as Doctor Who last season with Capaldi, the bald guy with the glasses.
Are you talking the guy who played Tweedledee and Tweedledum and all that?
Oh, Matt Lucas, the Brit.
He is the bad guy.
He is one of those oddball actors in the industry that just, sorry, bro, you look creepy as dude.
And he surprised the hell out of me. I wasn't expecting him to be that sinister.
Huh. Yeah, because he was in Bridesmaids playing the brother alongside the actress who plays the character Fat Amy in a lot of those films, and he's always bald. He always looks really awkward and creepy.
Yeah. And they took it to a new level in this one.
Nice. Crazy. I knew he was in that. That's interesting.
No, it all I can say is I loved it. I thought it was great. Don't automatically jump to what Rotten Tomatoes or anybody else gives the score for. Give it a chance.
Give it your own opinion is what Nick recommends. And I usually strongly agree with those notions. And I think that's something that we should throw out there to our listeners when reviewing films. Like, if it's borderline, like we weren't sure about it, or if everyone else is crapping over it and we loved it, I think the biggest thing we can do is to tell our listeners, hey, give it a watch anyway and formulate your own.
Take a chance.
Formulate your own opinion. Exactly.
Take a chance on it.
Sometimes your opinion might drastically be different. Well, guys, that's going to do it for Movie Matters this week. I don't know if we mentioned it, but Matt had to bounce, as awkward as that exit was. But that being said, guys, leave a comment down below on our YouTube channel and let us know if you've watched any of these films and what you thought of them. What do you think of the Black Panther nominations for Academy Awards? Very exciting stuff. Guys,
what do you think of Aquaman breaking $1 billion?
breaking 1 billion. Aquaman, 20 years ago.
1 bill.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Guys, you can hit it.
Signal.
As Lynn leads us out of this episode with a little bit of shimmying hand dance, guys, you can hit us up. Nicholas, contain yourself. I'm trying to wrap up. Guys, you can check us out on the YouTubes. You can check us out over social media, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Guys, you can listen to us over the audio-only versions in our podcast form over iTunes or Google Play, and anywhere else podcasts are found. And the number one spot you can find us and all our wonderful nerdy content is Nerdentialsmedia.com. There they are. Guys, that is the website to go to. And guess what? At the top of that website is a link to our Discord. That is the chat-specific platform where you can join in any nerdy conversation with us in real time throughout the day, throughout the weeks, and catch up on all topics we talk about on a weekly basis. For now, guys, that wraps up Movie Matters. This has been your Nerdy Essentials, and for me, Nick, and Lynn, as always, nerds, we will see you on the other side. That was creepy, Lynn.
I'm just waiting for us to start to do that, and then Lynn just like sit really close to his mic and go, on the inside.
Oh, well, dang it. Took that away from him. Lynn